on the gay community and policing. It appears that many gay people have a problem with police, and in fact, Black Lives Matter, which is really more about gay people than it is about black people. It's the baby of some members of the LGBTQ community. So, Black Lives Matter is a baby of trans gay people, lesbians, dykes, and gay men. They support Black Lives Matter. Many gay, white, or non-black people don't necessarily support black people, even gay black people. There's racism within the LGBTQIA2SS community. But just there's this programming that has everyone up in arms when it pertains to a police officer, white, shooting a black person, usually a black male, because otherwise they don't care about black males. In fact, they hate them. They want them dead. So much so that this thing about this talk of defunding the police. Listen, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Defunding the police. That's so nutty. I don't know, these people are people of privilege who are saying that. People probably living in communities that are gated. People living in communities, they have their own security. I know when I was hanging out with the rich lady, you would never see a police car on their street. You would not see the police car. You would see it on the main road passing through, but they would not be going on the residential streets because they have their own police driving around, and these are your corporate people. These are the people who are the heads of your utility companies and so on and so forth. The big name attorneys, queens and kings, council, the money people, the people who know how to swindle and make it rain with ill-gotten gains. Okay, anyway, there's the issue of violence against LGBT people, assault, murder, rape, bullying, gay kids, gay people get attacked viciously. There's a lot of hate. But, over the years, the gay community has become strengthened. And they have made many gains. They've made gains to where I can't touch them, meaning that they have rights and benefits that I cannot have or enjoy. Irony. I would spell irony with the name of Barack Obama. Irony. Irony. Iron. Knee. Irony, though. Barack Obama. She sells seashells by the seashore. I heard a woman speak on this. Colin Kaepernick writing a book on abolishing the police. And what I see is chaos and destruction. Violence in the absence of a police presence. I don't believe policing ought to continue as it has been. They need some changes from bottom up. But we also need the police, especially in certain areas. There have been times in my life where I've been in my own home, threatened and feeling unsafe due to the presence of an unwanted presence. Okay? I didn't call the Obia man. I didn't call, I couldn't call, my mommy, my daddy, my brother, my sister. I couldn't call my family, friends. Which ones could I call, right? It was like I made my bed and I was laying in it. I invited a snake into my home. In fact, a demon. A demon I invited, not knowing. A demon who was initially so nice and sweet, and everything was, boy. Anyway, we have to live and learn, yeah? But he was causing me to feel unsafe in my own space, where he wasn't paying any bills. He wasn't paying a dime. And I allowed him to stay there trying to help him, which is the dumbest shit you can do as a woman. Never do that. Let the man find a way to take care of himself. Usually they become little bitch boys. They find some old lady to shack up with, to live under, give her sex, and she in exchange pays the bills. So she has some level of control over him. These people, this is how these guys get to be into magic, black magic, maybe either through their own family or through the family of these, let's say the older ladies. Because a lot of these young guys these days love older ladies because, like I say, older ladies have a place for them to stay. And of course, meals and the sex. Because the guys are kinky and it don't matter what age she is, they don't care. It actually turns them on even more. But for Colin Kaepernick to be calling for abolishing of the police, where does he live? He doesn't have a need for their presence, So this guy was threatening me in my space, in my home, and I was becoming concerned for my life and safety. And I said, if you don't leave, I'm going to call the police. And he said, oh, no, don't worry. Let me call them for you. I'll call them for you. In fact, I'll call them for you. Let me call them for you. And he took my phone. He took my phone and called the police on my line because I asked him to leave and he didn't want to, and he felt he had some rights of squatter's rights, because I had allowed him graciously, foolishly to stay for a year and a half, 18 months, at which time I felt, either you start to pay some bills here or you're going to have to go to a place where you will willingly pay bills, because people have to pay some bills if they're living in this world. You have to pay, you have to contribute something, and it's not even a lot, all right? So this guy refused, and so he had to go because he was causing a lot of stress and acting crazy, shouting at the top of his lungs. I felt embarrassed and fearful. And he was thinking, everything is okay. He was living in a la-la land of Piscean, dreamy, playing his guitar and, headphones on, and he's gone, smoke his weed. And now, like, what else are you going to do, dude? Like, what else do you do? Apart from stroking your dick, stroking your guitar strings. What else do you do? Or you want to get an Xbox or a PS somebody? Okay, that's all you are about. Or you're writing songs that are very morbid and very dark and moody, but on the death, heavy on death and destruction and no future type thing, almost like a punk rock mentality, but not necessarily the aesthetic. These people calling for abolishment of police, women, maybe men can say such things, but even men are victims of crime. I have had occasion over the years in Toronto where I've had to call the police, and I've been happy to have them serve me and help me. I've had I've had encounters with police, experiences with them that were not positive at all. But that's not what we're here about today. I'm talking today about when it, they were positive, they were good, they were helpful, and made me feel safe and secure, which is what I believe their presence must be about. No, I don't know. I don't know. My daddy was he was a wayward officer. He was a police officer who never arrested anyone, and he he was a different kind of officer. He was a police officer just to be a Casanova, just to get into panties. Are the police truly the real problem for black people? Or is it black people themselves not being accountable for what is happening in their neighborhoods, where they know who the wrongdoers are, but they're fearful, they're afraid of gangsters, they're afraid of thugs, they're afraid of people with guns, people with knives, they are afraid of bullies, they're afraid of people who want to fight, they're afraid of people who don't feel like their lives matter, so they will come for you for no damn good reason other than you exist, and they're angry. And they're angry for various reasons. Some of them are valid reasons, but it's how they choose to, the anger can be great energy that can uplift you. You don't have to use it negatively. So that's what I'm here for. I know the things I say cause people to get very angry and upset, but what I am is I am anti. I have always been anti, and in some cases they call me mom. Okay. I've been seeing many drag queens and transgender and gay people very eagerly, enthusiastically pushing the what's it called? The koof jab. This community of alphabet people, they are always pushing and how you say supportive of big pharma. Okay, big pharma has supplied these drugs to the gay people with this HIV and AIDS, right? So they become dependent on this, and in many cases they become addicted to these drugs. They're happiest when they go to pick up their drugs. So they're pushing that as well. So they're gonna push the koof jab. And for someone like me who, my lifestyle is different from these people. These people are highly sociable. I know there are alphabet people who are not sociable, who are hermit like me. But for the most part, we know very well that life is much around the party atmosphere, whether it's at the bathhouse, whether it's at the lesbian bar, club, wherever they are gathering. It's usually sexually charged. That's just the way it is. My problem with that, because I have been sexually liberated, and it's through my sexual liberation is how I've become so averse to being so free, because it's just not safe to be so free. Now, in this gay community, there was a man, an older white man, he became a serial killer. He was killing, I don't know how many, as many as 8, 9, 10, 11. How many bodies did they find? He was a landscape artist, and all these bodies were being found on properties where he had worked, where he'd been employed when they were doing the investigation, and they started to discover bodies and bones and things in people's planters. And this guy had been killing gay men, and these gay men usually of color, like more like Arabic looking or Indian sort of thing, Persian maybe. He was killing them and disposing of them. And the way the police handled the case, the investigation, I had friends who are very politicized and very active in the community, and they were pissed off. They were pissed off at the way the police appeared to mishandle, which they did. They mishandled the case and allowed this guy possibly to kill even more people. So, and then there came in something about they became so anti-police from here, Toronto, that as usually when there is a large gathering, it's public, like a carnival, something like this, gay pride parade, so many people coming out. Usually there is police presence, and suddenly the gay community, those particular activists who have an axe to grind, they're coming heavily with this anti-police because the police screwed up this and the police have done that. And we do also have in the city a history of police brutality, not only with killing black people, but also gay people. And it goes back quite some time, and it's been bad. The police have treated the gay community of Toronto like not good at all. Okay? It's just recently things have been appearing to want to turn around, possibly because there are more and more gay people who are out on the force, on the, police services. They don't like to be called police force anymore. Yeah, whatever. So there are queer people who are also law enforcement officers. And this is why I guess they want to be a part of the parade. But the gay people who are not officers, they say that's too bad. If they want to be in the parade, they can be in the parade as themselves. They don't have to be in police uniform. And so the gay people did not want the police uniforms present, showing, visible at the Toronto Gay Pride Parade. And I thought, that's so petty. Y'all need to have something to really stand up and fight for. If you're fighting for the right to not have police present at something like the Toronto Gay Pride, that is just so, it's a massive crowd. It's very well attended. It's chaos and it's crazy. I stopped going because I couldn't handle it. It's too much for me. So it's not safe, really. It's not to just have, it's good to have police around. I don't know what y'all are talking about. People who are likely to be doing something bad or something wrong. I know y'all don't like the word. You think good is bad, bad is good. Everything is all the same, right? But there are people who go out in these crowds to commit crime, to do bad things, to violate, to beat people, to try to kill people even. So yeah, it's good. If they see a police presence, they are likely to go away. Yeah, I mean, I don't think people are gonna be doing openly things, breaking the law in front of police officers. So at the very least, their presence, I think, is worth something. But not to these gay people who are insisting that no, we don't want them. And yeah, we have gay police officers, but they can be in the parade not with their uniform. That's to me, the height of pettiness. So I don't know how this traveled, but I know it happened in Toronto, and it found its way to the U.S. The reason is because dykes, especially, more than fags, the dykes always going back and forth across the border, and these are the ones who are the activists. These are the Black Lives Matter movers and shakers. These are the Antifas, warriors, yeah? And they travel this way because when they go to cities in the U.S. or wherever in the U.S. they're traveling to, they can stay and host each other. So they don't have to stay at hotels. You see how they do their networking very effectively, efficiently. Also, this whole sexual charge, sexually charged, and everybody have to have sex with everybody. So then you are more interested, you are more excited to go and be and possibly have some hot sex. They call it heat. Heat. Now, the gay people have, like I said, been attacked so much. And I guess maybe in some cases it's not only black men attacking them, but there have been many black males, yes, attacking them, possibly because these black males are attracted to the transgender. And when they discover that they are what they are, the guys get angry, and then it becomes violent and possibly even, fatal. And so the black community, I don't know if it's a fear of the thugs, but they don't want to deal with the issue of there are black men and women and even young boys, youth, boys and girls, young men and women. They are doing very bad things, that if they're just harming themselves is one thing, but they're harming the community at large. So many of you living in cities where there's so many murders, there's so many gunshots, shots. I was listening to someone, I don't remember her name. I love her. I just discovered her last week. I've seen her for the first time, and I've just started watching her, and I just love her content because she's one of few who's talking about these members of the community, so-called black community, who just actually protect, encourage, support those who are doing bad things in our midst. There's Ayanna Davis, Florida, Hades, preying on children since God knows when. Pedo, oh yeah, there we go. Men in suits hiding women's panties under the suits. Lawyers, accountants, judges as aunties. Teacher is effing her teenaged students. Pent-up pedo tendencies. Miami to Shirley. Boop be-doo. Mrs. Robinson, the Most High loves you more than you will ever know. Whoa. God bless you. Please, Mrs. Robinson, heaven is the garden you reject. Fake genuflect, religious zest. Ayanna Davis, Florida, Hades, preying on children since God knows when. And there's Colin Kaepernick calling to abolish the Popo so more people will suffer. And Ali. Kate and Ali, suffocate, suffocate and Ali are fake allies. All the lefties right on time for tea and snacks. News of interest. More shootings, gunshots. Chicago, gunshots. Atlanta, gunshots. New York, gunshots. Just everywhere on the map. Shootings, death. More rappers dying. More rappers have died this year than any other year. Am I right or wrong? Please correct me. No police. Oh, look at that. Over 20 shootings in 2 days. No police show up in 2 days after a shooting. So 2 days after a shooting, people called the cops. No one showed up. But Kaepernick, Capper calls to defund the Popo and Black Lives Matter less, Mo and Mo. I also heard that the image that is used, seems to be the cover of this book, of calling for defunding the police. The image that this Kaepernick, light-skinned, mixed person, biracial, whatever he is, he used an image of a black woman, a very dark-skinned black woman with a big afro. She is the one who is representing his propaganda. There's that. There's always that. You see how they use this race against us at every turn? At every turn, race is used against us. And you darker complected, you darker hued black people, wise up to this and stop worshipping these light brights. And pardon me if you're a great light bright. I know many of you exist. But seriously, you cannot be representing us. It's just nonsense. Because you don't live our experience. You really don't. You are on the sideline. Okay? I know you go through what you go through, but it's not what we go through. It's kind of like the trans woman insisting that she's a woman just like me. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, comment or not. It's all good. I need to go and enjoy my supper. It's very spicy, so I had to pause. Good night.